What's going on, guys? Today we are going to be doing something a little different. We are going to be making a tier list of all the maps in Rocket League. Let's just jump right into it. The first map we're going to be going over today is Aquadome, the basic one right here. So here we are on Aquadome. I like the scenery of it. I like the background, the coral, the fish and stuff, but I do think it's a little dark, especially if you remember when it first came out. I mean, it was just impossible to see on this map, and it was very laggy. So I do like a lot of the background scenery, but it's not one of the better ones. It's kind of dark, so with that being said, I am going to put Aquadome as a C tier. Our next map we're going to be going over is Aquadome Salty Shallows, which is basically just the daytime version of Aquadome. Now, with this one, I think it has the opposite problem of Aquadome. I think the lighting on this map is slightly better, but the background scenery is just so boring. There's just a little bit of seaweed, and that's pretty much it. It's a very dull map. I don't like the original one at all, to be honest, but this one is not any better. So, with that being said, I am also going to give Aquadome a C. Next map we'll be going over is Beckwith Park. It's sunny, which is way better than night in Rocket League. Daytime is always better. You got some buildings in the background, the mountain, all the shrubbery and the foliage around the outside. This is just a very classic, it's standard, it's typical, but it's a very classic Rocket League map. And with that being said, for Beckwith Park, I am going to be putting it in the B tier. Our next map we will be going over is Champions Field. This is probably the most iconic map in all of Rocket League. If you know anything about RLCS, all of the Game 7s are played on Champions Field. Probably my favorite part of this map is all the flags of the different countries that go around the outside up top above the bleachers. I think it's a really nice touch. The Rocket League statue as you have it. I mean, this is just such a classic map for the history of Rocket League, for all the big moments that have been made in the pro scene on Champions Field. It's just a great map. With that being said, such a classic like Champions Field, I have nowhere else to put it except for S tier. Next map on our list is going to be Deadeye Cannon. So here on Deadeye Cannon, there's not really too much to the map. I think the sand, there's only one or two maps with sand. I think this is definitely the best one that has sand. There's the iconic Rocket League ball up there on the stones. But overall, I don't really think there's too much to this map. It's solid, it's bright, it's got that desert feel, but there's nothing really special about it. With that being said, I am going to be putting Deadeye Canyon into B tier. We're not going to be doing very many duplicates, but one of the ones that we are is Deadeye Canyon Oasis, which is next on our list. I know it's not everybody's thing and it might seem like a very small detail, but I love when they make pitched versions of the map. I just think I think all of the pitched versions are just better than the regular ones. I personally love them. There's just a little more green to go around. I know it is a little darker, but there's just a little more green everywhere. I love the field being grass, all the coloring, the sunset. I just think it just makes this map all that little much better. With that being said, we are going to put Oasis into A tier. Next on our list is going to be DFH Stadium. So DFH Stadium, once again, one of the things I like about this map is the flags going all the way across the outside. I think it's just a nice touch. but if we're being real, this is just a worse version of Champions Field. This is just a big stadium with all your eggs in it, just like Champions Field, but anything that Champions Field does, it does better than this one. So I think this one's just alright. With that being said, we are going to put DFH Stadium into B tier. The next map we are going to be going over is Driftwoods. Now for Driftwoods, I really try to like this map. I think the forest setting is just very good for a Rocket League map. I like the lights outside, trying to light it up a little bit. And over here on this section, you know, you have the little bit of the fog over the lake. So I do like the setting, and I think they make it look good. But once again, one of my big gripes with a lot of Rocket League maps is it's just dark. If this is like something you've been playing late at night and you've been playing for, you know, a half hour, 45 minutes, this type of map just kind of wears on you. Overall, I do enjoy the map though, so with that being said, I'm going to put it in a B tier. The next map we'll be going over is Estadio Vida. Now this map, I do really like this map. I love the setting of it being in like a favela. Everyone, you know, this field's just right in the middle, everyone's around watching it. And the paint that you get when you score a goal like that, I think that's such a nice feature on this map. It says Vida there in the background, as you can see. I think this is a very nice map, one of the best ones in the game. With that being said, I'm going to be putting Estadio Vida in S tier, our second S tier. Our next map we will be going over is Farmstead. This once again is an example of, like I said before, I love when they make the pitched version of the map. Farmstead is already one of my favorite maps in the game. I love the barn setting, the wheat field background, the tire swing is just so iconic. I just love everything about this map. And then they add the pitched version. This is my pick for my favorite map in the game. And if it's my favorite map in the game, you know it's going to be an S tier. Next, we are going to be heading on to Forbidden Temple. So on Forbidden Temple, I like the idea of, you know, the background, the Japanese blossoms, the cherry wood, all the Japanese style buildings, but this map never really resonated with me. It was never one of my favorites. It was never really something that I preferred. It was always just a map that I played on. So I do think the map is alright, but in my opinion, it's just a very average map. There's nothing too special about it. With that being said, we'll be putting Forbidden Temple into B tier. Our next map we will be going over is Futura Garden. I know when this map first came out, a lot of people thought that it was bigger than the regular Rocket League map, size of a regular map, and I never thought it was bigger, but I can see why that is, because for some reason on this map, your depth perception when you look across the arena, there's just something weird with this map that just makes it look very odd. I don't know what it is about it, but I know a lot of people shared the same sentiment as you looked around. It was just a really odd coincidence. With that being said, Futura Garden is just weird. It's gonna go in C tier. Next up, we are going to be doing Manfield. Now this is another similar thing with DFH Stadium and Champions Field. The whole premise of this stadium is exactly that. It's a big stadium, you have all the eggs watching, it's supposed to be like a big spectacle. but my probably very controversial opinion about it is I think this stadium, this map, is better than Champions Field. I love the layout of it. The square top is like a real soccer field with the top open, and the mountain in the background is just so iconic on this map. Like I said, it might be controversial, but I think this map is better than Champions Field. And if it's better than Champions Field, that means it's going to be an S tier. Next up, we're going to have Neo Tokyo. I never was a huge fan of this map. To be honest, I think the best thing about this map is when they have the announcer saying, what is save or goal, when he says those things. I think that's definitely the best feature of this map. But outside of that, I really don't think, to me at least, that there's anything too special about it. With that being said, for Neo Tokyo, I am going to be giving it a B tier. Our next map, again, like I said, not many duplicates, but this is another one. We're going to be doing Neo Tokyo Hacked. So here we are in Neo Tokyo Hacked, and I do not like this map at all. I mean, it takes the very basic premise of Neo Tokyo and it just makes everything worse. The announcer, as you heard at the beginning, he's distorted. The map is just so dark, which, as you guys know, is something that I hate in Rocket League. And the only decent thing about this map is when you score a goal, the guy pops up on the backboard. That's the only decent thing about this map. It is not good. I do not like it. With that being said, we are going to have our first D ranking of the video. Neo Tokyo Hacked is a D. Our next map we will be getting into is Neon Fields. I know when this map came out, it was absolutely hated, and I have to agree with that sentiment, but not to the same extent. I also think that this newer version does not quite tell the tale of how bad it really used to look when it first came out. I mean, you just couldn't see. You're trying to play Rocket League and you couldn't see anything. It was too dark. The neon lights were too annoying. It was just a really bad map. This version that they have of it now does not do it justice of what it was when it first came out. And with that being said, we are going to be having back-to-back Ds with Neon Fields. The next map we'll be going over is Salty Shores. Salty Shores, this map is just iconic. This is definitely a top 3 map. I remember this used to be just a private match map for the longest time. It was never in the real rotation, and I love this map. The way that it looks, the scenery, how bright the map is, all the, you're on a fairground, the roller coaster and stuff, the ocean on the side there. I just think this map is absolutely amazing. One of the best in the game. With that being said, we are going to be putting Salty Shores in S tier. The next map we'll be going over is Sovereign Heights. So on Sovereign Heights, I really don't think there's too much to talk about. It's just a city map for Rocket League. I mean, I like the bridge in the background, and I really like how they put Cynet on the side of the building. I think that's a pretty good touch. But other than that, it's the same old thing. It's not too difficult to see, but it's still a night map at the end of the day, and just nothing really special about it. With that being said, we will be putting Sovereign Heights into B tier. And I forgot to mention it before, but I did decide to move Driftwoods into A tier. We will not be doing any of those crazy private mode maps, so the next map we will be going over is Urban Central. When I first started playing Rocket League, this used to be my favorite map, probably. I absolutely loved this map. I loved when the clocks would go around when you would score a goal. I just thought the Rocket League statue and like the setting of a train station with it raining outside, I thought all that was so good. But as time has gone on, my opinion has really changed. I think it's honestly quite, with all the new stuff that they've brought out, I think it's quite a dull map. I mean, there's really nothing about it. The scenery is very bland. You're just in a tiny building. There's some rain going on outside, but there's nothing much to this map. The one thing that did stay that I like about this map is when you score, the clock spin around. That's still my favorite part about this map, but my opinion has definitely changed for the worse. We'll be putting Urban Central into a C tier. The next map we'll be going over is Utopia Coliseum. So in Utopia Coliseum, the setting is in the name. You're supposed to be kind of like fighting it out, battling a Rocket League match in the Coliseum, but I don't really think it does that much for me, to be honest. I think it's just a slightly worse version of Estadio Vita. That's just how I see it personally. I do think the map is still very nice overall and very fun, but there's nothing really special or significant about it. With that being said, I will be putting Utopia Coliseum into A tier. And our final map for the video, as once again we will not be doing any of the special mode matches or any of the crazy extra matches from private games, will be Wasteland. This is another one, as I've said in this video a couple of times before. As you can see, I am not on the regular Wasteland, I am on Wasteland Pitched. And once again, for whatever reason, the pitched version is always just better to me. I don't know why that is. I don't know what about it is so special. I always think that when a map is pitched, it's good. And for regular Wasteland, I really like it too. I like the setting. I like where you're at. To me, it's a little better. It gives the same feeling as Oasis Canyon, but it's even a little better, to be honest. So I really do enjoy this map. I think it's fun, and I like the pitched version better. So with our final map of the video, we will be putting Wasteland in B tier. I will try to reorganize these in perfect order for what I think is from best to worst, and I'll come back to you guys. Alright, here you are. This is my official list from best to worst of all the current regular game mode maps in Rocket League. As you can see, I feel like Farmstead, specifically the pitched version of Farmstead, is the best map in the game. Salty Shores is a very close second. You can see my top 5 here, all S tiers. I have a couple A's. For me, it's either S or B. It's kind of hard to get into A. And as you go down to the bottom here for D tier, my 2 worst maps, Neon Fields, and my very first map, probably in Rocket League history, is Neo Tokyo Hacked. Well, that was a little bit of a different video for you guys today. I hope you guys still liked it. Let me know if you wanted me to do more tier lists in the future of Rocket League or otherwise. Thanks for watching. Peace.